Your top stories this evening brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts bringing value home. $2 billion four-flat prison for Mazaruni. The destruction of prison records creates mayhem over the whereabouts of inmates, but finally, it's 6 prisoners on the run. Relations between Guyana and the Republic of Argentina continue to blossom and bud, and the body of an elderly woman of Bushlot, West Berbice, retrieved from a Montrose canal. No sign of foul play. HGP Nightly News starts right now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Javon Vickery with the July 13 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know. The government will be constructing a 4-flat modern prison to the tune of $2 billion at the site of the current Mazaruni prison. It was also recommended that the prison system be run by a board of governors and not directly by the government. Royden James reports.
Minister Ramchutan said he is in receipt of the new design which is to be constructed at the site of the current Mazaruni jail. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, he said that the construction of a new prison was part of the recommendations by the COI which was conducted last year. The minister noted that this particular recommendation got the blessings of both him and President Granger.
It's going to be costly, but we wanted an area to remove the overpopulation of the more serious criminals to a safe place in Mazaruni. And that has started.
$276 million was allocated for the first phase of the project, which is the foundation. And in next year's budget, more funds will be allocated for the project, the minister explained.
We want a 4-story building, but it'll take some time, the construction and all of that. We have to now put it out for bid, for contractors to bid as to who will build this thing. This will be a major piece of construction, but it will start as of this year.
The minister also spoke of the modernization of the prison system and other recommendations that were submitted.
The first question that was asked was in relation to selecting one from 5 options. Whether we privatize the prison system, whether we regionalize it, a combination of both, and whether we keep it in state hands with a board of governors. We opted for the governance structure to be in state hands with a board of governors.
The government has since furthered that governance structure, along with the amendments that this new governance structure will cater for. Attorney Duke Pollard is working towards getting the amendments of the country's Prisons Act to accommodate the modernization of the Guyana Prison Service. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. The delay to accurately identify prison escapees from Sunday's prison uprising is said to have been caused by the destruction of a number of important documents during the inferno that ripped through most of the Camp Street prison. Here are the details. Director of Prisons Mr. Gladwin Samuels explained that upon admission to the Georgetown prisons, inmates are usually accepted with a warrant that illustrates specific information about their incarceration. Mr. Samuels further stated that computerized documentation of inmates and prison records were and are still in the process of being put on stream to better assist the prison service in documenting prison records. But on Sunday, the day of the unrest, it was difficult for the prison service to back up the records needed to accurately account for prisoners after they were extracted from the Camp Street prison.
Unfortunately, all of the information we had stored would have been destroyed by the fire.
So how do you know who you have in custody then?
We managed to save a large amount of the documented records. We have convicted and remanded records, and the warrants are also stored separately from the records. So we managed to retrieve almost 85% of the records.
The modernized documentation of prison records was budgeted for in the 2017 national budget. The director, however, stated that as of Thursday, 97% of the warrants were retrieved, giving the prison service a definitive record of all the inmates still on the run.
The warrants is a clear description of the person's offense, age, and where the offense was committed and so forth. There are some biological data that we will capture from the person based on questioning and so forth. So as a result of that, once the warrant is there, the necessary records can be reproduced.
Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad noted that most of the records pertaining to inmates are also with several other institutions. That provides the prison service the chance to recover the majority of their records.
The process that cause a person to be committed to the prisons is initiated by police filing a case. So there are records of those persons at the Guyana Police Force, and there are records at the court, being the magistrate court or the Supreme Court.
Meanwhile, Public Security Minister Kamraj Ramjatan asserted that the names of the released prisoners from the Luziknan holding facility will be released to the media before the week is out. The Public Security Minister and the Police Commissioner are distancing the authorities from footing the private hospital bill of an Agricola woman who was shot in her home during a shootout between police and suspects. Kristen Macklingham reports.
Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad says the wounded woman was taken to a government-run health facility, and it is doubtful whether there was need for her to be taken to a private hospital.
She was taken to a public hospital, treated and sent away. That obviously indicated that the doctors feel that whatever they did there would have sufficed. Her own relatives took her to a private hospital.
Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad. However, Hiralal, the husband of the shot Agricola woman, is insisting that his wife was not treated and sent away from the Diamond Diagnostic Center after she was taken there by neighbors.
I had to call them by over there to catch the Diamond, and Diamond can't do nothing. They got to catch a pressure.
Did the police officers who were here while the shooting occurred and your wife was injured, did they offer any assistance?
No assistance. They buy from over there, buy nobody catch the Diamond, put in a car, their own car, and catch it. They assistance all that.
The Guyana Police Force sent out a press release on Wednesday stating that the shot woman, Parmal Day, had been grazed by a bullet and was treated and sent away from the government hospital. But when contacted by this news agency with information that this was not so, the Police Public Relations Office and the Commander of A Division, Marlon Chapman, confirmed that the woman still had a bullet lodged in her body and was admitted at a private hospital. Minister of Public Security Kamraj Ramjatan, in an exclusive interview with Nightly News, stated that the medical expenses for the woman is the family's burden.
Policy dictates that if you're robbed in the street, yes, as best as possible in the public health system, we'll take care of you. But if you want to go to private health care, that's your business. Not because somebody robs somebody, if you, let's say they rob you of your thing, the government has to pay.
Meanwhile, Commissioner Prasad added that there is no proof at this point to support the perception that the woman had been hit by a bullet shot by the police.
There is no evidence so far that is a bullet discharged by a member of the force that struck her. The evidence is that there was a shootout.
However, the shot woman's husband claims that ballistics will reveal that the bullet did come from an officer's gun.
They take the big long gun and they put them in a car there, and they come out with a shotgun and they stand up with a very big gun. But the soldier can show there is a weapon, it's an AK-47 bullet that. That's what they've been shooting, big guns.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingham.
Thanks for staying tuned to the HGP Nightly News. Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad revealed that on the day of the Camp Street uprising, 5 of the 6 inmates on the run escaped through the main entrance of the prison. The police have also confirmed that an abducted taxi driver was taken by 4 of the 6 escapees. Here are the details. The commissioner, during a press conference at the Public Security Ministry on Thursday, explained that after the alarm was raised during the uprising last Sunday, the less than 50 prison wardens paid strong emphasis on the perimeter of the compound to ensure that there was no attempt by inmates to escape over the walls. The massive blaze, which reportedly occurred in 6 buildings inside the compound of the Georgetown prison, was meant to be a distraction, according to the Commissioner of Police.
The officers that were providing security at on the perimeter of the 3 sites was focused on what was happening in the prison and whether anyone will come over that fence. They didn't even notice persons passing them on Camp Street. That wasn't the focus, and it happened pretty quickly. So in the circumstances, it's understandable.
Matthew Shiftahal, the taxi driver reported to have been abducted by 4 inmates of the Camp Street jail, is now being treated as a main witness in the uprising. Based on the geographical recollection of Shiftahal, the police commissioner stated that unless the abducted taxi driver would have been to the area before, there was no way he could have known how to get out of the swampy district.
What happened on the day in question is that there were fires lit in the prison, in buildings of the Georgetown prisons. So there were several places where that were burning. The prison guards at the front gate, the prison officers at the front gate were overpowered, and the five men came out of that gate.
Commissioner Prasad noted that the authorities are of the opinion that 4 escapees are currently moving together. The commissioner, however, stated that the search will continue for the 6 escaped prisoners from the Camp Street prison. Minister of Public Security Kamraj Ramjatan is frowning upon media reports which quoted him as saying approximately 300 prisoners had been released. The minister gave a detailed breakdown of the prison population. Royden James reports.
I want to state for the record and to correct the record, I think Stabrook News carried me this morning in a big spread that 300 have been released. That, for a variety of reasons, was a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake on my part using the word released.
The minister said what he meant was that it was approximately 300 persons who were removed from Lusignan for other locations, while others were released. And it's not that 300 prisoners have been released.
83 persons have been removed to the Mazaruni prison. 90 have been removed to the New Amsterdam prison. 48 have been removed to Timeri prison. The early release that I granted total 57. The magistrate's release, 26 were placed on self-bail, and as a result, I think, of reduction of bails and the monies being found, an additional 8 found bail monies for their release, totaling 34.
Additionally, Minister Ramjatan explained that of the prisoners who were transferred from the Camp Street prison and placed outside of the Lusignan facility, some 151 of those persons were given residency inside of the prison.
Set that is in there, we are making accommodation for them in another walled area that we have now tarmacked, and we are putting up sheds with roofs so that they can be in better conditions.
The persons who were granted early release at the discretion of the minister are persons who would have been released from jail in a few weeks' time. Royden James, HGP, Nightly News.
Thank you, Royden. The body of an elderly West Coast Berbice woman was retrieved from a canal at Montrose on the East Coast Thursday morning. The police appear to have no reason to believe that there was foul play. Kristen Macklingham reports.
The body of 72-year-old Nighlty Dionarine, also known as Jean of Bushlot Village, West Coast, Berbice, was recovered from this canal at Montrose, East Coast, Demerara around 700 hours on Thursday morning. The dead woman's stepbrother Ananjit stated that Dionarine had been staying at her daughter's residence at Happy Acres, East Coast, Demerara, and was last seen by relatives on Wednesday.
She just stepped out of the house last night, unknowing to anybody in the house. And this morning they woke up, she was not there, so they called me, I came down and we started looking, and then eventually we found her here.
Ananjit explained that this was the first time his stepsister walked out of the house without notifying anyone.
She never did that before, but she just wasn't well over the couple of days, so she came by her daughter to stay.
Meanwhile, according to the police, although it has been revealed that Dionarine was not enjoying the best of health and was in a state of hallucination when she ventured out of her daughter's home, investigations into the woman's death are ongoing. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
Thank you, Kristen. Now that the dust has finally settled, the authorities on Thursday have identified 6 prisoners who are on the run and not 8 as was previously disclosed. Ayana George reports.
While law enforcement operatives are restlessly on the go to recapture escaped prisoners, the Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad has confirmed that it's now 6 inmates of the Camp Street Jail who are on the run and not 8. They are wanted by the police for questioning in relation to murder and escaping from lawful custody.
We know that 4 are together, and the other 2, we have reasons to believe that they are separate. They may be in Georgetown. The other 4, according to the driver of the car, should be somewhere in the backlands on the East Coast.
Police further remind the public that all information received will be treated with confidentiality. Mark Royden Durant, a.k.a. Royden Williams, and Smalley, Yuri Varswick, a.k.a. Malcolm Gordon, Stepfry Hopkinson Alexander, Cabana Stevens, a.k.a. O.J., Cornelius Thomas, and Desmond James. Persons with information about the whereabouts of the 6 are asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 225-6411, 225-8196, 225-2227, 227-1149, 226-7065, 911 or the nearest police station. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Welcome back. Community development officers have been dispatched to several hinterland communities to work with Tushaus towards the improvement of those areas. Ayana George reports.
To better manage communities within the hinterland regions, the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs has trained and deployed community development officers to assist Tushaus improve monitoring the affairs of the communities. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Alicock, disclosed on Wednesday that the CDOs are in process of evaluation and budgeting.
Now is the time when they would be active because they have been trained to be able to interact, be part of the whole process of the villages development.
The minister expressed the view that the CDOs will deliver their best to the people of the hinterland regions. Minister Ali Cox stressed the importance of Tushaus collaborating with the community development officers.
The regions, the villages, let's say the regions, districts have been understaffed, to do the volume, to cope with the volume of work there. You need machines, you need dedicated persons who understand what is needed, and we do not have enough. The few that we have right now is like under some severe pressure.
More than 12 CDOs are performing duties within communities of the hinterland region. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
Thank you, Ayana. Guyana and Argentina have boosted formal diplomatic ties, which have served to tremendously support both nations in many developmental areas, and there are indications of better relations beckoning. Kristen Macklingam reports.
The close and cordial ties between Guyana and Argentina were celebrated on Wednesday during a reception to mark the 201st anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of the Argentine Republic. The reception took place at the Guyana Marriott Hotel in Georgetown. President David Granger stated that the country has received from Argentina notable support in a number of fields which have boosted the development of Guyana and its citizens over the past years.
Guyana expresses its appreciation for the support provided by Argentina in arts, in defense, in education, in health, in sports, and other fields. We look forward to continued cooperation with Argentina.
President Granger explained that Guyana and Argentina collaborate within regional institutions, therefore sharing common values of respect for each other's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and more.
These fora provide us with the opportunity to work with other like-minded states of the South to address the issues of economic and social development of our peoples and to promote the principles of peace, respect for democracy, and the protection of human rights. Excellency, Guyana and Argentina can look forward to working together to preserving the Southern Hemisphere as a zone of peace.
The Argentine ambassador to Guyana, Luis Martino, also noted that his country and Guyana have cemented cooperation on existing projects and that there are new areas which persons should maximize upon.
I believe a lot still can be achieved for increased levels of cooperation. This vision should apply not only to government agencies, I think, but also to the areas in the private sector. Working more closer together in an effort to identify and strengthen the opportunities that lie ahead.
Guyana and Argentina established diplomatic ties on October 6, 1972, and since then the two countries have enjoyed fruitful relations. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.
Thank you, Kristen. The Ministry of Public Health prepares to implement eye care services in primary health care systems. Ayanna George reports.
Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, is moving to improve the standard of eye care services provided by the public health care system. That was among matters raised by her at the 20th annual conference of the Ophthalmological Society of the West Indies last Monday.
Providing eye care services constitutes an important dimension of delivering comprehensive primary health care, and in the long term contributes to economic growth, development, and sustainability. As the onus of visual impairment decreases in our populations, our social and economic well-being are enhanced, which brings us ever closer to the realization of our sustainable development goals.
She related that there will be clinical workshops and lectures to provide information and platforms to effectively respond to the challenges of vision care.
Providing quality eye and vision care for our nation is a key priority for the ministry, and we have high expectations.
Minister Valda further emphasized that the Ministry of Public Health's mandate is to provide the Guyanese population with adequate health care practitioners and services throughout the 10 administrative regions. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Ayanna George.
I'm Calvin Chapman with the HGP Sports Cast. Good evening. The Noble House Goals Galore Indoor Hockey Championships saw more high-scoring performances on Wednesday evening as the Bounty GCC men and the Pizza Hut GCC ladies both made their first appearances with convincing wins, while the Pepsi Hikers continued along their dominant road to the top of their table. The always entertaining Pepsi Hikers strolled to a 17-12 victory over Saints Hockey Club New Tricks in the opening men's match of the evening. With New Tricks beginning on a +12 goal advantage, the Hikers would dominate from end to end and give a masterful demonstration of hockey to their youthful opposition. Captain Robert France topped the score sheet with 5 goals, while teammate Roddy Bramford added 4. Randy Hope, Jamar Drasana, and Andrew Stewart with doubles each, and singles from Colonel Haywood and Rayon Branford rounded out the scorers for hikers. Bounty GCC had a productive evening as they dominated both of their ties for the evening. First with a 19-14 win over the Hikers Hockey Club Recruits and then a 17-12 win over Saints Hockey Club Old Dogs. Bounty captain Kevin Spencer was their main marksman of the evening with 9 goals in the 2 matches, while Mark Sargent put in an entertaining performance with several solo goals. The young Old Fort Warriors created the upset of the evening in their men's clash against then veteran GCC Vintage, with the Warriors enjoying a handicap of 20 goals in their favor to the Vintage 6. They would need to use their youth and speed to hold their experienced opponents to less than 7 goals per half. Goalkeeper Paul Andrade produced a stellar performance for the Warriors, as Vintage saw several shots being saved, each escalating the volume of the keen Warriors supporters. Vintage was able to score 4 goals in the last 10 minutes of the match, but still fell 2 goals shy of catching the Warriors, who would go on to celebrate a 2018 victory. The Pepsi Hikers and Bounty GCC lead the men's tables with 6 points each, while GCC Spice leads the women's pool table with 4 points, followed by Pizza Hut GCC and the Old Fort Shooting Stars. The tournament continues on Friday and Saturday of this week, with the finals scheduled to begin at 1840 hours on Saturday. The Georgetown Amateur Basketball League First, Second, and Under-23 Division, which began Sunday, continued last evening at the Burnham Court, situated on Middle and Carmichael Streets, with 2 Under-23 matchups. The first match, which began at 6:30 p.m., witnessed pace setters overcoming 2016 champions Bounty Colts by 5 points. The Strong's Colts unit led the game up until the 4th quarter, until an extra push from pace setters earned them the win. The second match was contested between Eagles and UG Trojans. As expected, the Eagles unit, led by senior national player Travis Belgrave, made light work of the Trojans, soaring to a 76-66 10-point victory. Belgrave led Eagles with a game-high 27 points, supported with 20 points from his teammate Shamar Huntley. Matches continue this evening, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at the Burnham Basketball Court, when Eagles play UG Trojans again, this time in 2nd Division action. Meanwhile, Nets will battle the competitive Pleasance Guardians team from 8:30 p.m. in 1st Division action. In the Digicel Schools Football Championship, the finals of the East Coast Zone has been decided following Annandale Secondary School's triumph over Golden Grove Primary Top and Buxton Youth Developers getting past Bladen Hall Secondary 2-0 in the 2nd semi-final to book their spot in the final, which will be played tomorrow Friday at the Better for Acton Community Center ground. On target for Buxton in the 70-minute matchup were Alblami Robertson, who netted in the 40th minute.
And I feel very proud, not only for me, for my community and Buxton Youth Developers.
Adil McCalmont netted 3 minutes later to double Buxton's lead. The youth sent caution to his teammates as they will come against 2016 East Coast champions Annandale in the final on Friday.
Yeah, my experience with the game was good because I know that once we play around the ball, we're going to get the goals and get what we want. But the most important thing I want, the discipline, them step up their discipline and so.
Guyana under 17 in a bid to bounce back from their first round 20-run loss to Windward Islands in the regional under 17 fifth over tournament currently being played in Trinidad and Tobago had over 5 hours of their second match washed out. The regional under 17 title is the only elusive title for men's cricket in Guyana. Leeward Islands won the toss and decided to bowl first. When the rainfall came, the score was 29 for 1. Alex Algu had been dismissed for 3 runs, while Junior Sinclair and Sachin Singh were at the crease in the Brian Lara Cricket Stadium. The covers came off at 15:30 hours. The result of Guyana's second round game against Leeward Islands in the under 17 regional 5th over tournament will be brought to you in tomorrow's Sportscast. And that's all we have for you now on the HGP Sportscast. It's now back to you, Javon.
Thank you, Calvin. $2 billion 4-flat prison for Mazaruni. The destruction of prison records creates mayhem over the whereabouts of inmates, but finally, it's 6 prisoners on the run. Relations between Ghana and the Republic of Argentina continue to blossom and bud, and the body of an elderly woman of Bushlot, West Berbice, retrieved from a Montrose canal. No sign of foul play. Those were our major headlines for these and other stories. You can go to our website, that is www.hgptv.com. I'm Javon Vickery. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.